So this is really exciting to me because to the extent some good print plays a part in this whole story, it was basically kept a surprise from me. I found out you were creating a kid's book by needing to help Pat with a file. It just so happened the file that I was helping him with was your book cover. So that was my first time hearing about your new creative venture. Since then, I've been able to read it myself and even gift it out once, with a few more times still on deck for Christmas. So let's hear it. Tell everybody about Dinosaur Ears.
So I kept it, I really did keep it under wraps because I felt any distraction talking about it, telling people about it, if it wouldn't happen or get finished, I would be really upset. So I just didn't tell anyone. And I had obviously asked Pat at Some Good Print. He's my go-to for any quotes on anything I need for work, any weird ideas I have, any graphic design, just anything. So I actually have the email. I reached out to Pat in 2017 to ask him to do my illustrations, but obviously he deserves more money than I can pay, and just fitting in other projects, especially like lower revenue projects, wasn't ideal at the time. So anyway, I reached out to him for a quote because I was determined to get this done, and I wanted to see, what I had to expense so I could budget myself. Okay, I'm going to write this book. I'm going to pay someone for photos, and I'm going to print at least one copy. I'm going to print at least maybe 2 copies, one for me and one to sell, because if I sell 1 copy, it's a success. I sold a book, and just having a physical copy is real. I can copyright it. It makes me an author and all that. So, and I didn't know, who Pat told, who he didn't tell. I didn't swear him to secrecy, I don't think. But yeah, pretty much everyone was surprised. And it was like Halloween, we had all of the books arrive to my house, and I put something on Facebook that, hey, I wrote a book, by the way. And people still don't know. People are still like, wait, what are you talking about? Did you really write a book? And it's a children's book. It's a paperback. It's, short. It's not a lot of words. But everyone has been so excited that they've made me even more excited about something that I almost took on as like a chore to just get this project finished. But essentially the idea I had was from seeing tons of dinosaurs and skeletons and memes, and this whole thing that I like dinosaurs since I was little is accurate, but people take it to a whole nother level with gift giving towards me and the idea of how much I actually like dinosaurs. But I do like them, and I love going to the museums where I would see, the replicas, recreations from, the fossil remains of dinosaurs, but they never had any ears. Even the horse-like ones, or, just ones that you would think relate to a current animal, like a hippo or things like that, aside from woolly mammoths, which are much more recent than dinosaurs. They just didn't have any ears. So it occurred to me one time, like, what if you put other animal ears on a dinosaur? And it would be kind of funny because they are sort of, lizard-like. But I was like, I can do this as a children's book. Like each page would just be a dinosaur.
Lizard-like. Now we think they're bird-like.
I know. So this was around the time when I had this idea, when everyone was getting more knowledgeable about, they had feathers. They might have had feather-like stalks and things on their body. So everyone was concerned with that. But again, not anything to do with their ears or anything fleshy or anything like that. And I also do not have a great grasp of anatomy or biology of animals. So, I know you can tell from some internal structures of like fish and things if something had certain types of hearing, but I don't know those things. So I was like, okay, it's simple, just a book. Here's, different pictures of dinosaurs with ears, but I didn't know how to make a book. And the first thing you need is the images. So I couldn't draw them. I cannot draw. I've tried. And like I said, over the years, it wasn't something I ever put money behind. But this year, with COVID-19, we had extra time just on our hands. Everyone wasn't going out. I had the time, and I still had my job. So I was still full-time Luckily didn't take, a huge pay hit or anything like that. And I was like, oh, I could get this done. My company encouraged us to do a personal development initiative over the summer. And I was like, what can I do? What can I do? Just spent a couple months, like May and June, figuring out what I would do. And then I would do this. And I had an artist just say yes. He had a lot of work canceled with his events in the music industry and his work as an artist doing caricatures. So my friend Ray.
Yeah, I was just going to say, how did you find your illustrator?
So my friend Ray has done my dog wash events every year, where he comes and he does caricatures drawing dogs. So and caricatures are somewhat humorous. And so I saw him online draw something more digitally with color versus a black and white caricature. And so I knew he had the capability to do it. And I was hoping he had the time on hand without, all of his band events going on that were canceled that part of this year. So he said yes. So he said, sure, I'll take some money from you and I'll get these done. And he really worked on them all summer. So I've known him, at least 10 years or so. But again, I want to say Pat was my first choice from back in the day. And I made sure he wasn't upset about, me using a different illustrator, but he was fine with it. And that's pretty much how I got the idea, decided to get it done this year, found an illustrator and a printing company. And you guys at Some Good Print, pretty much helped with everything else. To make sure, I had the paper correct and everything I wanted for the book to look the way I wanted it to.